If you're looking to buy new toys for your kids, you might have seen these very colorful, very bright, and very fun-looking Pop-It fidget toys. They're all over online stores, physical stores, and you might even have these toys already in your child's toy collection. So you might be asking, are Pop-It toys safe for my child or are they harmful? What effects do they have on my child, especially when they play with them every day and when they do it during class time? It's a Thursday, so it's time for another OTTTT, Occupational Therapy Tools and Tips Thursday. And today we're gonna talk about fidget toys. Before we talk about Pop-It fidget toys, we need to talk first about what is fidgeting. Fidgeting is a form of self-stimulation, or what we commonly hear as stimming, which helps our body change the way it attends or pays attention in response to a task. It could be calming or self-soothing. If your body has too much energy and it wants to move around, fidgeting could help you lower down the energy and calm down so you can focus on a task. If you're on the other end where you're feeling down and low energy, fidgeting could help your body be more alert and self-focused so that you could participate even more. We commonly see these behaviors of fidgeting as problems in children with autism, ADHD, or other childhood conditions because we expect children to behave in a certain way. We want their bodies fixed on a seat, their eyes focused on the speaker, and they have to stay still for very long periods of time. When kids do this, we see it as a problem, when in fact we even see this in adults with or without disabilities, and you could even be doing it yourself. Sometimes you would see adults attending a lecture, and when they get bored, they would start shaking their legs, or maybe they're rubbing their arms, or rubbing their necks so that it would help them relax or focus on the lecture. You could see someone attending a meeting and they'd be shaking their pens, playing with the cover, putting it on, taking it off, or maybe tapping it on a desk. You could see someone who's nervous and preparing for an interview, chewing gum, or maybe pacing around to help them focus and center themselves back to the task. These are different ways that you could see people adapt the way that they move and attend to a task so that they could perform better. And that is why it's best not to see fidgeting as a problem in kids, but a tool that they can use so that they could participate better in class. Fidgeting comes in two forms. It could be things you do with your body, the same way we had examples about shaking your legs, chewing gum, or maybe rubbing your arms, or maybe just moving your body to help you focus. Fidgeting can also come in the form of objects, and that's when we see a lot of toys coming in, like fidget spinners, fidget cubes, and the latest one would just be these Pop-It fidget toys. But it could also be any object that's available for your kid. Some kids use Play-Doh, and some kids even use the pen, like what we've had in the example earlier. So now let's answer, what are fidget toys and are they safe for my child? Fidget toys are tools that your child can use to help them self-soothe or self-calm, to help them adapt their attention and their energy to a task. The more important question here is, when should I let my child use fidget toys and when should I stop letting them play with fidget toys? First, let's appreciate the toys that we have here. We have the game controller. I also have this very colorful robot Pop-It, and I wanted to open this together with you. We have this rocket ship, and it comes in a bigger size. We have more circles to pop. These Pop-It fidget toys come in a variety of sizes, patterns, and colors. And they're different from the fidget toys because, well, they can use your entire hand in playing with it. They come in different sizes, so you have very tiny ones that come in keychains, or you could have the extra large ones that could be maxed that you can play using your hands or even your feet. They're very bright, colorful, it could entertain your kid for hours. And an advantage I could see from the Pop It toys is that they don't produce much sound, so they're less distracting than the fidget spinners that we've seen in the past. The most important indication for you to let your child use a fidget toy is if it's helping them focus more and participate in a task. If your child focuses and answers questions and continues to follow instructions, then it might be a good reason for you to let them use this fidget toy. It's an important note to remember that just because your child is not looking at you, it doesn't mean that they're not listening anymore. We just need to get used to the idea that children learn differently, and while they could be focusing their eye contact on a toy, it's still good if you're working on auditory processing or the way they respond to questions. Another important note to remember is that the fidgeting should happen within your child's personal space. The rubbing should be on their arms, it could be chewing with the gum or shaking their legs, or the toy should be in their pocket, on their lap, under a desk, because when it already invades other children's personal space, that's when we go to the next question of when should I not let my child play with a fidget toy. You can discontinue the use of a fidget toy when it's already distracting your child. If your child is looking at the fidget toy and focusing on it 100% of the time, they could stop responding to questions, not participating anymore, and it could take a lot of prompting from you for them to respond. That could be an indication that you have to stop using the fidget toy and look for another one. The next one is it could be distracting other people. It could be distracting the teacher or distracting their classmates. When they're already using it outside their personal space, they could be sharing it with another kid and both of them are distracted already. Or maybe they're moving with very big body movement that it's distracting the teacher. That means we need to find alternatives for their fidgeting. When you're working with fidget toys, these are very important rules that you have to remember. Number one is that kids do not know right away that these are tools for focus. Almost all of them think that this is just a toy, but you can teach them on using the fidget toys appropriately and in the right context to maximize the effects that it gives. Number two is for you to teach your child to communicate the need for fidgeting. It's very important that you work with the teacher and let them know that your child needs a fidget toy to participate. Most teachers are very understanding and accommodating to children who need fidget toys in class. Lastly, we can teach kids to communicate their need for fidgeting. If fidget toys are not working, we can already use movement or sensory breaks, especially if they're expected to focus for prolonged periods of time or they have very cognitively challenging tasks that they need to do in class. The long-term goal here is to help your child be aware of their energy levels and teach them how to communicate their need to move, to have sensory breaks, to use fidget toys, and to let them know the appropriate context of when they could use them. This way, we could use fidget toys to their advantage and help them perform to their optimum best in class. And that's it for another OTTTT Occupational Therapy Tools and Tips Thursday. Bye! See you next Thursday!